right as COVID-19 was discovered at the early days of 2020. Um, keep in mind, yeah, before lockdown, before anyone even thought that it was actually in the United States as opposed to localized just in China. Um, they also knew about COVID happening and did nothing in preparation for it. And then the Biden administration got it, and yay. So anyway, that's a whole other thing to talk about that we don't need to talk about right now. The Biden administration, around 21 to 22, had sent out stimulus packages. They not only did stimulus packages for individual people, they did stimulus packages for corporations. And the primary goal with these packages was to provide assistance money. Because, fun fact, a lot of corporations do not have spare cash. They don't have savings. They don't do savings. They spend all their money.
They give it all to their CEO.
They give it all to the CEOs and their executives, and that is not an exaggeration. That is not me just being, I'm still a little bit bitter about it, but it is not just me being bitter about the fact that corporations do this nonsense. Why is an ad happening? What is happening? Okay, something is. We're gonna pause in a minute after the ad is done doing things. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Something's happening. We're gonna take a. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. You reconnected. Go. Okay. I'm just trying to say a thing, and then... Is the ad not popping? Oh, boy. I do not want to have to restart this stream again. I do not like doing that. Well, okay, so on my side it says the ad has started.
It's actually showing up on my computer.
The ad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't actually see the ad, but I do see your screen over here. Like the ad is playing.
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah,
That's...
but I don't have an ad.
Yeah, that's weird.
Just have the mini screen.
Alright. Strange. Can I just... Yeah. It says ads are running. Okay, yeah. I'm looking at a thing. Thank you for showing up, Saribot. I don't know why you're this late, but...
It's because it reconnected.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, if they're just gonna stand there...
Chat about
Well, we're gonna continue in about a minute and a half, so... Oh boy.
Hurry it up, you gutless idiots. No one should be led to their own death.
Alright, my community's back. Hooray. Yeah, definitely OBS had to do some sort of weird reconnecting. Yeah, not sure what's going on with that. Tort, you back? Do you live? Possible? Possible, no. Content. You didn't get the ads, just a pop up top. Alright. Oh, yeah. Apparently, okay, so that happened because OBS disconnecting caused Twitch to, like, yeah, so it okay, everyone, frick, hang on. Okay, everyone refresh.
Oh, hey,
OBS did a poo. You should be able to see things now. Okay. Hey, my wife can view my content now. Okay, so
First time.
part of my editing is going to be really jarring as I switch to a whole new killer. Whole new killer, whole new everything happening. All right. So, yes, I agree. But just think of your puppy. Your puppy Snug. All right. So, I am forgetting to mention one thing about all the circumstances that have happened right now. My information comes from primarily my own experiences, but also the information that has been provided from me, not limited to, but including the different recruiters and vendors that have been trying to get me a job for a while now. It's not just been one recruiter who has a conspiracy theory. This is something that multiple people from multiple distinct companies across the spectrum, like different industries and everything, this is what they are seeing, and this is what they are all agreeing on, despite that they are not talking to each other. So that is the preface of this information in terms of my confidence in its validity. So anyway, round 20, 21, 22, we are getting stimuluses, and specifically corporations are getting stimuluses. And the idea behind these stimuluses are meant to be, hey, this is a sudden thing happening. This is to help with your transition so that not everyone goes bankrupt because we have to force people to stay home.
So we don't have another giant stock market crash.
Yeah, so we don't have a whole new thing.
Again.
And regardless of whether or not it was done with good intentions, or good intended intentions, the fact is that the money that the corporations that received the money did not need the money. And the reason for that is a lot of corporations that got that money were corporations that were tech people, or had a huge tech base for it. The majority, if not the entirety of their work is done with
Remote.
with their computers and fully capable already of going remote over the course of at least the last 10 years. And hang on. Oh, if it's not one thing, it's another thing, Chad. All right, so where did they go? Yeah, I had to mute myself because I didn't want to keep chatting about it while the child was in the room. But basically, none of these corporations needed this. Okay, none of them do. Over the course of the last 10 years, every single role that I have had, no matter what the role is, no matter what company I worked at, no matter what company I was interviewing for that I might have worked at, they all use laptops. They all use laptops. Okay?
They hand out laptops.
They hand out, like, no one is using desktops anymore. For a variety of reasons. The main reason being that if something breaks, they want you to handle it immediately. You can't do that if your computer is a desktop at work.
You've got a tower.
Exactly. They are not going to expect you or even let you pack your computer tower home every night. And they are certainly...
The butt that would be.
I imagine someone has at least thought of it. They are also not going to do the change that they are going to make it so you are able to remote in from your personal computer. That is a security concern and a nightmare to set up properly.
So you get a signed laptop and you are in control of that.
Yes. Basically, yeah. So you get a laptop, you were responsible for that. Which means that every company was already prepared for a mass exodus out of the in-office workspace.
They might not have planned that, but they were.
Really, the only possible issue is, are people's personal internets capable of handling remoting in from home? And yes, yes, they are. Now, granted, instant messaging apps like Skype and such could not handle the network traffic that was going to be happening at that time.
That's different.
That is a problem, but you didn't need that. That is not a requirement for doing the vast majority of your work. Okay? But sure, okay, a transition of some kind is needed, blah. Regardless, they didn't need the money. They needed to pop their heads out of their butts. That's what they needed to
And
do.
stop freaking out and maybe not give so much money to their CEO.
Also that. But because these corporations just did not have any sort of savings, the sudden change that did require some sort of monetary backing, they couldn't do it. So the government was like, okay, here is billions of dollars so that you can go ahead and do it. Okay? Now, as I've already said, they didn't need that. They were already, okay, I'll come on. They were already fully prepared to do work from home because they have laptops. The thing that you can carry in order to work from a different spot.
Already set up with your
It's already good. It's good. You don't have to worry about it. You just
continue working.
you just keep working and you're fine.
Enough theatrics.
So like you just didn't need to worry about it. So now corporations suddenly have a bunch of money. Oh, hey, here's the thing. They suddenly have a bunch of money. So what are they going to do? Well, for once, they didn't give it all to the CEOs and the executives. For once, they didn't do that. They did something arguably worse. But
You're unfit for
what ended up happening was because all these corporations received a whole bunch of money, they basically got free labor. Okay? So so they got this money at around 2021. Around 2022, they opened up so many roles. 2022 was the market for job seekers. Anyone who was looking for a job could get a job at their leisure. They did not have to fight for it. People fought for them. And the primary reason for this is that the market was oversaturated with simplified jobs because they were opening up roles left and right because they wanted people in doing work. Because keep in mind, no one is hired, regardless of the pay, no one is hired for a dollar amount that exceeds the amount that they are going to bring in for the company. If you are brought in, say you're going to get paid $50 an hour, $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, the company is going to make more on top of that. For every dollar that you make, you might be making an extra dollar for the company. Because of course, they're not hiring people for charity. No. So everybody they get into their respective business is free money for them. So the government is currently,
Stimulated for it.
yeah, they're getting stimulated. Yeah. So because right
Relevant
now,
to how many people work for you?
right now, the government is paying you to work for this company. So not only is the company getting effectively reimbursed for hiring you, but then you are working for them and making them money, which is a cycle of making more money for the company. So the more people they get in, the more people they have working on projects, not only are they getting things done, they are making money. Things are great. They're great for everyone. Yeah. Double money. Everyone's happy. Here's the thing, though. Eventually, the government was like, okay, we have declared the pandemic to be over, even though it's not over, but we're not talking about that right now. We have declared the pandemic to be over. Y'all are good. Y'all have transitioned. Everything's fine now. So you don't need the stimulus anymore. The checks ended. The welfare checks that the companies were cashing dried up. And as a result,
I still cannot believe that our government was like, you know who needs a welfare check? The corporations, for sure.
yeah,
Just as an aside.
that's another
That's
rant.
wild.
I have a feeling it was less of they need this and more of an excuse to give my corporate backers some money and I can get away with it and not get in political trouble. It's good for the economy. You can't be mad at me for helping the economy.
How's that going 3 years on?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wait, he's not the president anymore. He doesn't have to deal with it.
yeah.
I'm not bitter
So-
at all.
So, I just lost a viewer. Fair. So
Sorry.
that's fine. So what? So what happens is around end of 2023, beginning of 2024, the money's gone now. So the corporations have to make a crucial decision. Do they start paying for these people that they hired, who are all on contract, by the way? Do they start paying for these people that they've hired that have made them so much money?
It was like
Or,
every job you came across in those years was a contract.
oh yeah, they're all
Nothing
contract
was
jobs.
A full-time hire.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that is just standard procedure in the environment. And they'll claim it's like, oh, we got no,
It was all
Yeah.
contracts.
Oh, yeah.
And they were fairly short contracts.
yeah, a lot of them were very short. And like they do it on purpose, claiming, oh, it's just we got to make sure you
You're a
work
good
out.
fit.
We don't want to hire you and then you suck and then you're stuck with us with all these benefits. No, whatever. it's all BS. But like the point is like, yeah. So they, but yeah, they were all contracts, and so the decision they had to make was, do we fire everyone, or do we start paying for it with our own money instead of the free stimulus money that the government gave us,
So they're no longer free.
that they're no longer giving us? And chat, you will not believe what corporate America did. Dun dun dun. They fired everyone.
Contracts up? Oh. Bye. That's all. Bye.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what happened. Is unpredictably to no one, they decided that rather than start using their own pocket change to pay off all of these contracts that they signed up everyone for, they would just let them go. Because, of course, they were always intended to be temporary. I'm certain that they knew that the stimulus would not last forever. I'm certain they knew that. And so all of those contract jobs were slated with the intention, regardless, if you ever see like, oh, they're intended to be a long-term contract. No, they weren't. They're never intended to be a long-term contract. If they want it to be a long-term contract, it is cheaper and easier and just all around a better idea to just hire them on as salaried. If they are saying it is a long-term contract, it's because probably they know budget is going to run out at some point and they're going to get rid of you. And it's much easier to get rid of a contract person than it is to get rid of someone that is salaried. My love, you were saying?
I was going to say, I don't think anyone who received a stimulus package during those years thought that they would just continue to get a stimulus package.
No.
It was always going to be
Oh,
temporary.
yeah.
For everyone.
Yes.
I
Now,
was surprised we got more than one,
Yeah.
personally.
yeah, I thought it was one and done.
Yeah, and then they're like,
Um,
really?
Like
More money?
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
If you say so.
If you're gonna make that claim, okay.
It really messed with our taxes that year. It threw me for a loop.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, it caused problems.
well.
Apparently, it caused problems for everybody, though. So, I was
yeah.
not alone.
So there was a catch anyway.
I mean, we still got our taxes done and it was fine, but it was, a hassle.
The actual completion of it.
Yes.
Got it.
Everyone
Got
was
it.
like, wait, how do I
How do
afford
we
this?
how do we incorporate the fact that we got free income as income? But yeah, so that is what happened. So as a result, what ended up happening was the termination of all these contract roles, which were in one capacity or another always intended to be temporary. Now we have a major economic issue. The major economic issue being these companies got used to a bunch of income. They got used to a bunch of free labor still working for them, and thereby generating a bunch of even more money for them. And corporations do not like it when that number drops, no matter what the reason is. So what did they do? Well, they did realize you can't expect the core team that you had initially, that was probably like just a handful of people. You can't expect a team of 2 or 3 to do the work of a team of 10 or 15. They did eventually decide, despite their efforts, they did eventually decide, you know what? They do, in fact, only have 2 hands, 1 brain, and only so much RAM on their computer to do things. And we're not gonna give them overtime. Yeah. So they decided, okay, we will open up jobs again, but like only one. Just one job. Yeah. So one person per department. Don't worry. Oh, not per team. Are you insane? No. Per department. Per department. I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but essentially what happened was, yes, they did start opening up jobs again, but now these jobs are very wide encompassing and very hyper competitive. In the sense that you need to be capable of doing much more than just the standard. Much more than what your job would actually be for. And the best example of that would be the dozen plus interviews that I have done. Final interviews, by the way. So many different calls that I've done. But the final interview, yes.
In-person interviews
Yes.
after digital ones.
Yes. After all of these interviews, them ending as the same reason each time, that they would say thank you but no, and the feedback that we would get is, Mark from the YouTube comments is great. We have he impressed us a lot. We have nothing bad to say about him, but we want someone who can give us more. We're going to go with someone who can do more.
What was it that one the feedback that one job gave you? Like they needed someone fresher?
Oh yeah, well that was different. That
The
person.
least helpful information.
Yeah, there was also one job that was like, well, we're gonna pass on him because we're looking for someone who can give us a fresh perspective on things.
What do you mean? Fresh
It was
from
like,
what?
what kind of freshness are you talking about? Do you mean like wrong answers? Because
Fresh.
I gave you correct answers.
They're like,
That is
"We
objectively
liked
what
everything
happened.
About it, except there's just something.
He's just.
Just look on that for your next interview, I guess.
Now, and of course they didn't ask me any questions in terms of like, this is what we're currently doing. Like, how would you change it? How would you, anything that might suggest, do you have a different idea for how we might be able to accomplish this? And no, it was all standard BS questions.
Which they liked. The
And
answers of.
yeah, they liked it. They were fine with it. What?
Maybe they actually wanted someone younger, less experienced, who would not expect so much out of them.
I don't know. I don't know.
You have been in this industry for quite a while.
Yes.
You know your worth.
I've hit 13 years of experience in this industry.
Yeah. You know your worth, and they don't like that.
And listen, look, if maybe it's something as simple as they don't want to admit that they were looking to hire a woman or something. it was a woman who was interviewing me. Maybe it's like, oh, you know, I want to hire someone, you know, get a little more diversity, and it's probably not that, but like maybe it
In
is.
all honesty, if that's what it was, I would have respected them actually saying
Oh
it
yeah,
out loud.
yeah, no,
I'm
no,
like,
absolutely.
oh, fine, totally fine. I do not actually fill out that box.
We want a woman. Oh,
I'm like, oh, totally get that.
I am cisgendered and a male. I can't help you on either of those regards. So
So farewell.
yeah, okay. Like I wouldn't even be upset if they said it's like we can still do the interview. I will do the interview.
I
Yeah.
would have been considerably less upset with
Yeah.
that answer.
It's like, look, I get it. It's not a waste of my time. It's not like I gave up an interview to do that interview. It's like, okay, fine. Interview practice.
We all know
Give
that's
me the
not
practice.
what it was.
No.
They
There's no
saw
way.
your name on there.
They knew.
They knew.
They didn't like, you know, Mark might stand for Markeisha.
It just
Or it might stand for Marcanthil.
might. Or it might just be Mark.
Or it might just be Mark.
We'll have to see him in person.
We'll have to see it. Ah, I've seen his face. I'm not going to turn on my camera, otherwise he'll know.
It is wild to me when they do that. They're like, you have your camera on. I'm not turning mine on, though.
Yeah. So I have to stare at a blank screen and pretend I'm getting the...
I'm really seeing the micro expressions from this end.
Yeah, I'm really... Yeah. I'm really...
Those nonverbal.
It's giving definitely an experienced manager.
Or someone who didn't want to change out of their pajamas.
I could even accept that. I was like, it's a work from home day. I just want to be in my tank top and shorts. Fair. It was toasty.
Like, I too want to be like that.
Yeah, I do too. Go for it. I don't care. Wear the most workplace inappropriate outfit you want.
You're the one
I
interviewing.
don't
It's
care.
fine.
You already have the job. I'm the one having to put on this button-up shirt with long sleeves during a day when it is hot and muggy out. And yes, I did not wear pants for that. Of course I didn't. But they didn't know.
There were children around.
Yeah, I wore
Definitely
shorts.
wearing pants.
I wasn't naked. I just wasn't wearing pants. I was wearing shorts, I think.
Those are pants.
Okay. I was wearing pants. Just very short pants. Anyway, so the situation now is there is a drastically lessened amount of job availability. And the few jobs that are available are roles where, okay, yes, they may want, you know, a database administrator, but they also want someone who is capable of handling front-end UI. They want someone who is also capable of some management. They are also wanting someone who is capable of a half dozen different other aspects. Is this part of the job description? No, but it is so very clear that they are wanting to try and squeeze out as much possible work out of you.
Oh, but does the pay reflect that?
And they are actually dropping negotiated salaries. They are dropping the amount of money that they are willing to pay for the role.
'Cause why
So
would they pay for
even
that?
exactly, why would they pay for it? Because even though the role, and like even if we kept the role as just what it is on paper, just on what the role should be, it is still underpaying for that role. And then they are also, on top of that, asking for you to do more.
But also, even if you say yes, turns out somebody else said yes faster.
Yeah.
Or didn't require as much salary. Who knows?
Yeah. So
Or maybe they were just fresher. You'll never know because they don't tell you. I'm not the least bit bitter.
I should have
about this whole year of job searching.
I should have showered before that interview. If I had showered before that video call,
Yes, maybe that would have done it.
or maybe it's because I didn't follow suit. Maybe I should have turned off my camera.
Ooh.
Maybe I should have muted. That would have been real fresh.
Power move.
If I just muted and was just in the chat the whole time, that would have been a huge power move.
Sorry, I can't get my computer fixed until I get a job.
Look,
My video camera is
You're
broken. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, chat, that is what happened with the job economy. That is how COVID made a lot of money for a bunch of different companies.
And how they're really trying to hang on to it.
And that is why it is my 1-year anniversary of job hunting, where I have interviewed plenty and received no offers. Now, let me put the caveats on the things that I have said. The first caveat is the fact that what I am saying is from the perspective of someone that is in the tech industry. This is an issue that I have experienced, that I have seen from me and many other people that are in this industry. I can't speak for like blue collar employees. I can't speak for people that are like medicine, that are in safety fields, like government positions, or like firefighters or anything. I can't speak for those, but I can speak for the tech industry as a whole. Things like your telecommunications people, things like various startups. They are suffering. The people trying to get a job in these industries are suffering because of this issue that the industry itself created. I'm not even going to blame the government for doing this. Was it a stupid? In ways, yes, but also in other ways,
People who can think ahead, it was a stupid.
it was. I would say it's less of a stupid and more of an unnecessary.
It was a stupid.
Fair
There were
enough.
So many other directions they could have put that money.
Oh, sure.
The tech industry, really.
I-
The tech people need help.
Part of the
putting
tech
their
in.
people at home. to work.
Part of the tech industry is telecommunications, which our modern society does desperately need to function properly.
Yes, but you currently worked in the telecommunications industry at
Yeah.
that time, and you had a laptop at home
Yes.
that was belonging to the telecommunications department.
I maintain that it is an unnecessary. The stupid is not putting any sort of condition on the money that these companies received. Nothing to say, hey, if you're going to use this to hire people, you need to retain them. You can't just get free labor and then lay them off later when the labor is no longer free. Like, you cannot do that.
You can't just postpone this big bubble
Yeah.
that we're making.
Yeah.
I have
This
a few
is help.
feelings about this whole situation.
This is help, not paid slavery, basically.
you are
Now,
a worthy companion.
again, like I was saying at the beginning, I think this is politicians paying off their corporate donors, paying them off, giving them money as they've always wanted to do, and this time they are able to get away with it. I think if they had put some forethought into it, under the assumption that they actually cared enough to put forethought into it, that they could have realized, yeah, corporations never use this money for their own people. They use it for themselves. And if they're not giving it to their executives or their CEOs, whatever, they're not giving it to their higher ups, who are they going to give to? They're going to give to other people that in turn will give them even more to themselves. Because, like, legally speaking, they can't take the money and then give it to themselves. That wouldn't fly, of course. So instead,
Maybe.
they gave it to themselves. Well,
They might get away with it.
but
I don't know. I feel real bitter and pessimistic about the whole thing
yeah,
these days.
that's fair. But at the very least, like, even if they would no way have gotten away with being able to just give it to themselves, they absolutely would have been able to get away with giving it to themselves because they did. That's exactly what they did. By hiring all these people, they got free money and arguably made even more money because, again, no one gets hired without the intention of they are going to make more for us than what they are paying them. So all that money that went towards hiring people, they made more on top of that. The government basically just gave them startup money to start making a bunch of profit.
I want to know who was in charge of this idea and how much storyboarding they did to see, like, think forward and decide how this was going to turn out. Because I want to know if they actually did that.
I don't
If
think they
actually
did.
thought anything of it. They were just like,
I
let's
think-
just throw some money at this.
I think when the topic came up of stimulus checks for helping people out, they just decided to also include corporations in that. In the same way that there have been Supreme Court regulations talking about how basically corporations are people too.
It does not breed confidence
It shouldn't.
in the intelligence of anyone in charge. And it's only gotten worse in recent years.
Oh, I would argue this is very intelligent of them. If you do it from the perspective of they are not actually trying to help people, that they are trying to help themselves. This is a very smart
in that
move.
Case, fine.
This
They're
is
smart, but they're evil.
yeah. Yeah.
Not breeding confidence.
Yeah.
And, not making me feel any better
No.
about anything. Thank you.
But yeah,
Including
that's
our chances of actually getting off unemployment, which we don't have yet
no.
because government.
Yeah. Someone effed up. I went in person to go say, hey, I'm here to prove I'm me. And then they were like, you didn't do it. I was there.
They were like, you didn't provide identification saying that this is who you are, so we're not going to give you unemployment.
Apparently,
So he went in person to give them
Yeah.
ID to show who he was.
if I didn't do it, what building did I go to?
You spent a long time there. Also,
I spent more time actually getting there than I did actually there.
well, no,
It was
also you
great.
were there in person because their website wouldn't work.
Extra chum for you, Anne.
And
Yes.
you even pointed out to them why it wasn't
Yeah, I know why it doesn't work. I don't know. I haven't seen the code, and I know why it doesn't work.
You're like, listen, your code has some issues. I can tell you right now. But apparently, they're in person. Personnel also have some code issues.
I'm down to one viewer. No one wanted to hear this.
That's probably me.
Probably. If anyone is still there, I love you. And if you left because you didn't want to hear me ranting about this, I get it.
But we all know there's billions of viewers.
Yeah, they don't count, though. Because when they don't say anything, I get lonely. At least the people that...
It's Tort.
It's Tort? What do you mean it's Tort? He's my billions?
Yeah.
Oh.
You and me. Sometimes
Alright.
it says a number, and then I go and look at who's there, and it's not the same number of people. So, I wouldn't trust that number.
Oh, no, I don't. No one should rely on that number. For all I know, it's actually 5 people.
Yeah.
And I know that they're, like...
Sometimes it'll be like 1 viewer, and I go to look, there's like 6 people here. What do you Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that's the job market.
Maybe I'll go back to baking.
That would be nice.
They can't possibly give me
Mm,
when I was so busy that I didn't even get a break, and then when I left, they had to split it into 2 jobs to get somebody to stay because no one else would do that much work.
yeah.
And people kept quitting when I was training them.
Yeah.
They were like, "You do too much work. I'm not doing this."
You did.
I was so good at it, though.
You were.
I was very good at it.
You were very good at it.
That job's not here, though.
No. I mean, it might be here.
No, they don't have that store here.
They don't have a Safeway here?
No.
Well, you'll just have to work at someone else's
It's
bakery
a
then.
Kroger brand, and we don't have Kroger here.
I don't know. Maybe you work at the... Maybe you work at the Deerberg's bakery. They have a bakery.
There's a Safeway in St. Louis.
Okay, I don't care.
Shouldn't be difficult.
Oh wait, no, it's an Albertsons. It's not Kroger. Whatever.
Same diddly difference.
I think Kroger owns Smith's.
Anyway, chat, if y'all have any tips, not tips, if y'all have any leads, if y'all have any leads on getting me a job, I'd appreciate it.
He's a database engineer.
Yeah, I'm a database engineer. At this point, I'll work for minimum wage digging ditches. I don't care. I need to feed my family. All right. That's enough of that. I hope this was
What a cheerful note to end it on.
yeah. I hope this was informative. I hope this was helpful. Oh yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention as I'm figuring out someone to raid. They did give money to more than just like tech corporations and stuff like that. My mother, for instance, works for a hospital. She is a medical coder. And the hospital was offered a bunch of money. And when that offer was made, the hospital, of course, accepted. Who wouldn't? And they...
Especially during COVID.
Yeah, especially during the COVID years. And they... Because they had all this extra money, they basically used it to help their people.
Wild.
It was, yeah. My mother would take on an extra shift, which was overtime, and it was like a half shift, and she would make $800. Because that was just part of like, hey, if you work this extra day doing things, well, you in total you're getting $800. And
Wild.
she told me it wasn't even her regular job. It was like doing things, what do they call it? Candy striper thing. She was like emptying out trash cans, walking the halls. Just, yeah, she got $800 to empty out trash cans occasionally for a half day.
I cannot imagine being paid that much for anything. And I
Yeah.
sweat like crazy and got burns and things for my job.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. When it came, the hospital jumped the gun on it. They didn't actually have the money for it yet. So they paid people a bunch of money to do these things with the expectation of this money was coming, but then the government was like, "Oh, you have a bunch of money in your coffers. You actually have savings. So you don't need this money, so we're not going to give it to you." So they got denied that money. So yeah, so basically good on the hospital that, hey, we're getting this money.
And also,
So
that
we're gonna-
hospital that was actually saving money. Look at them go.
And they are a corporation. They're technically a corporation that is
But they were
actually
trying.
saving money. They tried,
Fine.
but they did a stupid, and
And oops. And an oops.
and an oops. Anyway, we're gonna raid someone, Angelic Kitten. She is currently playing Dead by Daylight.
They deserve money more than the tech companies.
Yeah, the hospitals definitely do. I don't know her very well, but she's the couple times that I've rated her, she seems very nice. And she's playing Dead by Daylight, so yeah, why not? So here is the raid message. I hope y'all have a good time. I hope you had a good time. I'm sorry that it was a bummer, but also help. Um, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Next time I will rant about why Gen AI is bad for the environment. It's a much smaller rant, but we'll talk about that when we go back to Pokemon. I might be doing a Soul Link game with friend of the channel Satan Tai. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna chat with him. I'm gonna figure something out. We'll see what we do. But thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate you. Those of you that stayed, you are amazing. Those of you that left, I get it. I don't feel bad about the fact that you left. It's understandable. But I love you. I appreciate you. Please have fun and have a good night.
This one this time?